Made it.
Welcome. Yes, we made it. Yes, we made it. This is the 53rd episode of YMA Matt Chat, and we are in the fourth part of Families That Kick Together. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for those of you that are going to be listening live, and thank you to those that are going to be listening to this post-production. Tonight we are talking about Together, the long game, and where T stands for tradition meets progress, O stands for open communication, G is growth over ego, E engagement events, T teach life skills, H honor effort equally, E empower families, and R reinforce the mission. So really looking forward to kind of bringing this all together from families, the foundation, that which is your culture shift, training and highlighting and adapting and language, kick, your strategy, keeping it fun, everyone, including everybody celebrating milestones and keeping showing up, to now the long game. So thank you, Mr. Yarwood. I'm handing the mic over to you.
So we've been growing significantly recently, and a lot of that has to do with families that have been added to our ranks. I think it's become something when we get new people in, they see our other families in there enjoying themselves and spending time together, and they go, I want to be part of that. I want to enjoy that. So it's been pretty cool to see that. We have, when we line up, we have typically 3 rows of students. Now we're up to almost 4. And typically that whole back row, because we line up by height, the back row is mostly parents of kids who are in the front rows and ahead of them. So it's really cool to see the impact that it's been having, because the kids usually start first, and then the parents join up and say, what does it take for me to get on the mats? And I say, you just did it. All you have to do is ask, and we'll throw you on. We'll give you a uniform. We'll get you out there, start training, and it's really cool to see the involvement that they're having. What's really great to see is that they start to realize that it's not just about getting out there for their kids. They're getting out there for themselves, and see that they get to be part of this whole thing. They get to be physical. They get to learn. They get to struggle. They get to be embarrassed sometimes. It's challenging. It's difficult. It's fun. I mean, there's so many things that they probably didn't realize they were going to get out of it until they're actually out on the mats doing it. So to be able to be part of that and witness to that is pretty cool to see. Excuse me.
So what do you think has been the biggest change then to get you to this point?
For getting families out there?
Yep.
I would say just the encouragement, letting them know that it's not as bad as they think it's going to be. Because the biggest barrier, like we talked about before, is that they think that it's not for them. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be, people are going to look at them funny or whatever, right? And while that all may be true, it's not about the difficulty. It's like once they get out there, just encouraging them, showing them that it's really actually going to be a lot of fun. And I think just once we get them on the mats the first time, they really realize what it is that we do, right? And I think once that first couple parents got out there and kind of led the way, it sent a message to all the other parents that it's okay. So it's really become like this wave of parents joining now, because they they feel more comfortable because there's other parents already out there as well doing it. It was a challenge at first just because there was only one or two doing it, and they were at different ranks and they weren't in the same classes together, and it was just harder to get that attitude changed. But now that there's so many out there, they're all having fun with each other. They're enjoying, being awkward together and learning together and all those different things, right? So it's that old adage that a crowd attracts a crowd, and I think that's what's happening is that these parents are noticing that, hey, there's a bunch of other people out there too. Why don't I try it? And then that's kind of the hook that gets them out there on the mat. And once they realize it's not as bad as they thought it was going to be, they do okay. And then they're getting off the mats, they're smiling and laughing and sweating and having a good time. And that sends a message to the parents who aren't on the mats yet, like, hey, come on out. It's fun.
Yeah. I think, when we look at what we're creating inside of this long game, right? The tradition of just putting your kids in and sitting there doing nothing, like that's the past. You've created a future now where tradition is meeting progress, where you've put these families together. You've encouraged, look, here's your homework to do at home. The parents have stepped up and said, how can I hold my kid responsible for this? And now they've elevated that status to, well, darn it, I know half of these forms and moves. I've been practicing them with my kids for a year or 2 years or 3 years. And to be able to jump in, and say, okay, what the heck, I'll start as a white belt. And they come in and jump in as a white belt, and they progress faster, right? They get on that accelerated program. Because they've been around it. They understand it. They've even, had to use their own bodies to demonstrate to their kids. So they were practicing before they were even a member on the floor. Yeah. So, in that whole piece of engagement events, family nights, parents versus kids, classes and tournaments, they've got a little bit addicted.
Yeah, we have. It's what's great about it is like they actually get to compete at tournaments. There's not, it's not a kids only thing, right? There's their own. They compete against each other as adults, and it becomes quite enjoyable. And they build some camaraderie with the other adults in their ring that are in our area at other schools. They enjoy hanging out together and talking to each other and sharing their challenges with each other, just having a good time.
So when you look at how this is empowering families, what do you now see is possible with this?
It's awesome because I think there's a lot of potential growth in helping to bring families closer together. That maybe they didn't have that connection. We talked about this before with the electronics, the iPads, the phones, or whatever. And I think that while they might be sitting in the same car in the same room, they're not really engaging with each other. When you get them out on the mats, there's no phones out there. There's no iPads out there. There's only, themselves, and they start interacting with each other. And I think that's going to help build stronger relationships with their families, right? And they'll start to realize how much they enjoy spending time together and being with each other, and not just being in the same room together, but actually like engaging, having dinner together and going out and hanging out and doing activities and doing, the tournaments. And, we do movie nights sometimes. We do Nerf War sometimes. We do all kinds of good stuff. So.
Yeah, I think it's this new generation is dealing with the impacts of um, of not having families, not having family nights. So I think there's this whole piece of, you know, um, hey, I want to try. I want to definitely be a a part going forward
Yeah.
in my kids' world, and I want to be present and communicative.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and,
It's fun to see, because then that's almost like they have their own little mini competitions with each other. Even mom and dad, right? They're when they're doing drills and stuff, they're competing against each other. We had a family, a husband and wife, compete, separately at tournaments, but they were comparing notes, who did better, who got better scores, just having fun with it. It becomes that little competition within the family that makes it more enjoyable for them to go and go, yeah, okay, I'm going to beat you this time. You beat me last time, but it ain't going to happen again, So it just makes it a lot of fun.
providing the essence to your statement, families that kick together stick together.
Yep, exactly.
So one of the things that we've noticed, and we talked a little about this last week, I really think the long game in this is really starting when the kids are young, instilling all of the 9 principles, right, from your manual, and the life skills, and
Yep.
really creating a level of integrity that is second to none, that they can carry with them anywhere in their life.
Yeah, we try and reinforce it for everything that they do, whether it's at home or at school or wherever they are, right? We want to make sure that what they're learning with us on the mats goes with them beyond the mats. It goes out into the real world with them. And even if down the road they're not training with us anymore, we're hoping that they're getting the life skill stuff that's going to help them to become successful in life, become productive adults, and move forward and be a change in the world. That I think is a huge thing for kids, that they're missing out that training of what life is about, and we help them to understand it so that they can apply it and hopefully pass it on to other people too, because they become a leader, right? When we talk about, say, discipline or integrity, right now our life skill that we're working on is integrity, and it's that even the littlest ones, the 4 to 6 year olds, they know what it is because we talk to them about it. It's like, what is? I even ask them, what's integrity, and they all yell, doing the right thing. And I said, okay, when are we supposed to do the right thing? And they go, even when nobody's watching, right? So they understand what it is we're talking about, and then we'll talk about, like, is it okay to do something that's wrong if there's nobody around for you to get in trouble, right? So I put questions to them, I put the examples to them, so they start to really engage with the life skill and understand what value it is and what meaning it has, versus just repeating a phrase back to us. Anybody can teach them a phrase, but when they know what that phrase that they're saying means and they can tell us about it, that we know that it's sinking in, it's having some value to them.
Right. It's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, and then I try and help the parents out as much as I can too, to understand that it goes home with them, right? If you're enforcing it at home as well, that's where it's really going to stick, right? I only have them for a little while, right? And I can only go so far. Then I pass the baton to the parents, and then they take it from there. And I mean, they're spending the rest of the time with them, and when they can do that, it's very powerful.
Yeah, it's. I think from a business coaching aspect, to me, this is one of those three pillars of having people be extremely responsive to what's possible, what is possible, and how it's possible.
Yeah, it's very rewarding to see it, to watch it, and to hear it. Like, as you hear parents, I'm getting more and more parents talking to me like, "Yeah, we tell everybody we can about you. We want to make sure that they're all here, because we love what you're doing here. We love what we see in our child. We want to pass that to other people, and it's really becoming something like I hear it at least once or twice a week from other parents that we tell everybody we can about you, which that just says to me that whatever we're doing is powerful and effective.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a force, that's for sure.
A
It's getting
force
out
to be
there.
reckoned with.
It's getting out there.
Yeah.
And I think um, I think kids are starting to recognize too that they have a role to play in the family. They're not just the kid, right? They're not just waiting to be told what to do or brought somewhere. They can actually have impact within their family, be a leader. If they're like an older sibling, they can help their younger siblings understand how to do things, how to be leaders, how to learn life skills, how to do all that stuff. They can help mom and dad around the house understand that there's things that need to get done, and they're learning to just step up and do things versus wait for mom and dad to tell them to do stuff, right? Like cleaning their room, putting their toys away, putting the dishes away, taking the trash out, whatever it is, right? It could be any little thing, but they're starting to understand that they can make a difference within their families without having to be guided or told what to do. They start to realize that they can take it upon themselves to help out and do that stuff. And we have a couple of kids who they take very seriously their little siblings, their brothers and sisters, how important it is for them to be a leader to that little brother and sister. It's fun to watch.
Who is Janet Oseguera? Is she
Oh,
a mom?
she's a friend of mine.
Okay. She just gave a thumbs up and a heart.
Oh, I don't. Where's that at?
She is
On Facebook?
Yarwood's Martial Arts
Oh,
Facebook. Yeah.
okay. Oh, there we go.
Every member in the family is important and make an impact. There you go. Show. Important. Make an impact to their family. Very true. And I think this is the great thing about this is that your attention to this has created a space where it doesn't matter what age you are, the respect and the game on the floor has just become a fun dynamic to watch.
Yep. It's to me. I mean, you talk about like things happening overnight. Suddenly, there's all this stuff happening, right? But in reality, it's been something that's been growing. We just celebrated our 12-year anniversary on September 28th, and um it's been growing ever since then, right? It's suddenly like you think about when you plant a seed, like say you plant an apple tree seed, right? And it takes a while for the root to take place and the tree to grow, and then it takes several years, and suddenly it starts producing fruit, right? But when it starts to produce fruit, like, hey, suddenly it started producing fruit. Well, it didn't just happen, right? It took all that time to get to that growth, and be cultivating all the different aspects of what we're doing. And now we're starting to see that fruition of everything, where it's just blowing up, right? All these families, they want to be part of what's going on. They see what's happening. They're excited about the atmosphere, the culture, everything that we're doing there. And it's suddenly, like I said, it feels like it just suddenly popped out of nowhere, but it's taken all this time to get to that point.
Yeah. It is definitely that is definitely a fun part of it.
Yeah, I mean, this month in particular, September, was a crazy month in terms of growth, but it's been, like I said, it's just culminating all the time and effort we've been putting into building this whole thing and building the culture, building everything that we are trying to do for our families. And it's so much fun to see that all these people are starting to benefit from the impact that we're making, and it's cool to see. It really is.
Well, and it's having a ripple effect into other dojos, which I think is fun. I think I shared with you last week where somebody in Coon Rapids is copying some of your
Yep.
little pieces of paper that they go in and show to the teacher and get acknowledgement from the kids doing good work with an inside of integrity.
Yep, we're impacting homeschooling, because we do. My son teaches martial arts to homeschool kids every Tuesday in north of us in a church in Champlin. We're having an effect directly in the city of Brooklyn Park. We're going to be putting some programs together for them there, for the Parks and Rec department. I actually talked to another person today. There's some other avenues of opportunity that are looking to open up here pretty soon. That's going to be pretty cool. So there's just all these things are starting to blossom and flourish that we're, like I said, just a long time coming and working and cultivating, where now everything's starting to, and it's fun to see. It's really awesome to have that effect outside of the, outside of our dojo, right, out into the community, which is a huge thing. That it's, those doors open and it spreads out, and it's awesome to see. It's not being held within the walls of our school.
It's a nice game to be winning.
Yep, and it's like and what's really cool about it is like it's contagious, because all of our instructors are seeing it, all of our families are seeing it, and they want to be part of it, and they want to help it grow too. So when that happens, it just expounds, just boom, right? It's not just me and my staff. It's the families, it's the parents, it's everybody involved. They want to be part of it. They want to help it grow. And when that happens, there's no stopping it.
I think that's, when we look at the first week that we started this Families That Kick Together, was the foundation was fostering belonging, right? And then accountability is shared. Like that sharing of that accountability. Today, as a business coach, one of the things that people ask me the most for is, will you hold me accountable? Can you hold me accountable? And how's that going to work?
Yep.
And that's been a beautiful thing. So for me, that's the game of, okay, how do we move that forward?
Yep.
How do we continue to grow that and expand that, such that the message now flows into the schools,
yep,
and into the teachers, and back into the government? Because, do you remember when there used to be a presidential award to the physical fitness? Do you remember that?
I do. I have a big coin like this big because I won it.
you know, and that was a big deal when that came about. And now there is nothing like that anymore.
I don't think so.
You know, and I know part of that is because the school system has just been beaten down so much by administrative process.
Yeah.
And you know, the government and the government officials are more concerned with, you know, making sure the process is done and the process is complete and the boxes are checked and the,
Yeah.
you know, than they are about, can the student read as they're going to college? can they do basic math?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
as everybody knows, I own a series of ice cream shops. And the number one thing that boggled my mind, that absolutely boggled my mind this past year, was, uh, you know, just watching the degradation of school. And now, here's what I will say about that. And you're bumping into it. Look at how many people are homeschooling now. Look at how
Yep.
many people are taking the money and saying, you know what, I'm going to cross all the T's and dot all the I's to get that money to provide teaching at home for myself and
Yep.
for my family.
Yeah. There's about, I think there's between 60 and 75 kids in that program. And that's just one program. It's pretty crazy that, but it's really cool because um, for my son in particular, is we brought him up in a private Christian, private Christian school, so he had a little bit of taste of what homeschooling is, but he did it at a school, seeing all these kids, and he's starting to see that it's not, because it used to be there like a stigma of homeschooling. Oh, you're one of those weirdos that gets homeschooled. Now it's become like mainstream, and it's being normalized, and he's seeing that. It's just kids. They enjoy it because they get all their stuff done, and then they get to spend the rest of the day doing whatever they want to do. They're not confined to the classroom, regardless of time, right? If they get all their stuff done, they're done.
Mm. Yeah, it's an interesting one. All right. Anything that you want to review from the last 4 weeks that you want to kind of?
No, I just think overall it's become it's bigger than I was planning for, that my goal was in terms of the growth of the family stuff. It's really it's heartwarming and impactful to see how much the parents really want to be out there and do the things with their kids, and see how involved they really want to be, right? Giving them an opportunity, a pipeline, to be out there and be part of their kids' training and be part of their kids' lives in a way that they're not able to do in other places, right? Spend quality time with their kids. And it's awesome to see that, having that impact, and knowing that it's just getting bigger and bigger, and that it's there for them to be able to participate in, and see that there's opportunity for them to grow their family dynamic, and
Yep.
it's so fun to watch, because I mean, I personally experienced it since the beginning, because my son started when he was 3, and I know the impact it has, and he's told me how much impact it's had on him. And so from the kid's perspective, you know that you're making a difference for them and being part of that. So to be able to see that and actually grow faster and bigger than I had imagined it's awesome to see.
Well, and for me as a business owner in your sphere and in your world, we're looking at how can we hold students accountable even in the job world.
Yep.
And I think in that job world now, looking and going, hey, now, what agreement do you have to come to class? Sure, you pay for it, but Mr. Yarwood doesn't sit there and beat you over the head with a stick saying, you gotta come to class.
Yep.
Right? That's up to the individual. And the question for me then is, like, how do we make it so that those kids do have an accountability for showing up? And if you say you're going to be 3 times in a week, that you show up, come heck or high water.
Do everything you can to be there.
You bet.
You obligated yourself to it. You told everybody else you're going to be there.
They have an expectation. Yep, they have an expectation. And even I think today, and COVID has made us so paranoid, like even with a little sniffle or with a sore throat or some, like stuff that just happens during hay fever season, right?
Yep.
I've got to stay home. I have to rest. I have to, be in bed, or, what, that whole world. It's like, no, you get up, you suck it up, and you go do what you are committed to, and you sweat it out on the floor.
Yep.
I mean, I can't begin to tell you the number of times that I've, gone to a gym or went to swimming practice and, started out with goop. And by the end of, an hour and a half or 2 hours of training, I come out, it's like, what was I dealing with?
Yep.
I don't even,
it all out.
It's all gone because our bodies are amazing.
Yep.
But if we sit and let our bodies become like a petri dish,
yep.
We're gonna be sick. We're gonna get even sicker.
All kinds of crap that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So, that's what I see in a lot of this in the long game. So really appreciate it, Mr. Yarwood.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'm just happy to be a part of this. Happy to see the difference it makes and can make.
Keep going.
Yep.
Keep going.
And I don't know if you, I don't think you saw this one. Mr. Jake Johnson, love it.
Nice.
And then my friend from the Philippines.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
International impact.
There you go. She's an amazing individual and is always looking to level up in her world and in her life.
Very cool.
All right. Anything else before we rock it into, setting people up for number 54?
No, I think we got it. It's if you haven't figured it out by now, we love families. We love having families on the mats. The more the merrier. Get out there, spend time with your kids, off phones, off iPads, spend time, quality time, training with them, learning with them, living with them, playing with them, doing all the stuff that they love to do, because at some point they're not going to be around you anymore. They're going to go off and do their own thing. And it's our job to make sure that when they do that, they're impactful in the world in a positive way. And, ultimately it's our responsibility to create that next generation. So it starts with just spending time with them, being part of their life. That's all they want.
Yeah, and even though they may complain sometimes, even though they may whine and moan about, oh, do I have to? Yep, you do. Why?
Yep.
Because you said you wanted to, you gave a commitment, and we're going to
Yep.
keep it.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, with that,